you're on mute.
Great start.
Yeah.
Let's get going. I think we'll have to work hard to remember what we were doing last time because it was a few days ago. I think it was on Tuesday even. So let me recap because I think I did the last commits. So we've been going through a kind of tech spike, really a series of tech spikes. Horrible UI, horrible UX. What we're really just trying to get to do is have Nextcloud as our backend for image uploads. We wanted to get the authentication working. We wanted to figure out how two separate users were going to share photos together in a collection. So we figured that out, and it's not perfect yet, but it's a working kind of model. And basically what it is like there's a shared folder within the Nextcloud files instance, and that shared folder has permissions where the person who created the circle is the owner. Anyone that gets invited gets read, write, and I think that's it, read, write permissions, but not delete or anything else, and they can't change membership of the folder. There's a two-step process. So the owner of the circle can invite somebody with a URL. That URL is a one-time use. Once it gets used, the owner has to then also hit an approval to do a final yes and agreement. And the reason we did that two-step process was primarily to give the owner of the circle control, but it also means that technically in the background, when the new person gets added to the circle, it's using the circle's owner's identity to perform those operations. So we don't have this sort of super powerful, all knowing kind of user in the background that's modifying permissions and whatever. I think that feels like it's open for something to go wrong. So yeah, so it's not as elegant a workflow as we'd like, but it creates a much more controlled environment, I think, for sharing these photos. So that's where we got to. Working model looks ugly, but the web is not the important bit. The web is just to kind of get the underlying tech working. And now today we're going to move on to looking at mobile, which is much more the target platform that we'd expect people to use.
Cool. Okay, so I've done some preparation on my side. I have set up the environment to run here, so I have my versions of running, and I have also made Claude understand the Android CLI and the Android skills in preparation for this. I will be building Android only for now. And I'm going to go for native Android. That's my skill set. That's why my understanding is that there's a lot of other options, and having iOS built at the same time would be very interesting experiment. And I think we're gonna get that at some point. Now, before we start, you are kind of the driving force behind the application.
I'll be the product owner today.
So I kind of would like to
when's it
understand
done?
a little bit.
Oh wait, is that what good products to say? Can we ship it yet? I've got a marketing deadline next week. I forgot to tell you about.
I'll show you the Jira page. But I would like to understand from you, what is the kind of the end goal for the users? So let's move away from the controlling thing and ignore all of the complexity of the circles and managing these things. That's a technical foundation that is now done, and actually where we get today, like you said, we get to what we actually wanted to build. Until this point is very foundational work to be able to do it with real data, and now we can build the end user experience. We can actually see if this is a product that makes any sense. So understand the market fit, or in this case the market fit is probably just a family market fit, but go to the end user experience directly. So would you like to describe a little bit what you want the users to feel or kind of have in their hands?
Yeah, so I guess one of the key things is like the product provides a private space really, where people can share photos with those who are like part of a circle. And what does part of a circle mean? It's like, it can mean we're family members and I don't want my photos getting leaked out. It could be, especially when things are like personal or kid related or something like that, where you really want a closed network of people to share photos with. It could be bigger than that. It could be, hey, here's everyone at the conference, or here's everybody who's got an ongoing interest in something. You've got what's your dog type? It's a Belgian, no, it's a
French bulldog.
French bulldog, that's it, right? So there could be a circle of people who love French bulldogs, and but it's kind of like invite only and what have you, right? So it's a sort of space where people cluster together around a shared interest, and it's not really about putting things out into the public. In fact, that's kind of the idea. It's not public.
Yeah,
it's just between the people who you want to share with.
So it's not on Instagram where you build your personal brand and try to gain followers.
Completely not, right? So I think quite a few of these platforms, I haven't used Facebook for some years, and Instagram I've touched, but I don't really use it more than just to kind of poke around and understand it a bit. But it seems to me those platforms actually did start out with some of this idea that the people I know are the people I sort of hang out with in a digital way, right? It's like, early days of Facebook, I remember a former colleague went off to live in Norway, right? And all her sort of experiences of living in Norway, you could kind of see what's going on because you're now part of that Facebook kind of group. But over time, Facebook's feeds started to get full of public news and public figures and and after a while you start to lose any involvement in the people you actually know. So over time, I think these platforms have really changed and kind of got worse. So that's it. It's coming back to really that kind of origin idea of like, there are groups of people you want to share stuff with. You don't want to have these public platforms. You don't want to use messaging apps to share things with people. So that's where we are. Yeah.
So we basically want to build an anti-Instagram in the sense that we don't try for people's attention. We want to actually provide value by sharing content people want to see. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. For the application, we want to keep it simple. So we probably keep things like circle management and things like that out of it right now. Really on the technical side on the website for now. I think eventually probably you kind of have to be able to at least accept and invite and things like that. But we can ignore that now. So we can get a feeling for the core experience. So to me, the content feed has become a dirty term a little bit in the social media, but I think we can refer it as a content feed because we don't have an algorithmic feed as such. We're not going to push a thing for you just because we make money for that. Or
I mean, I would, okay, maybe I'm just playing with words here, but what kind of from past products that did something like this, there's more like a timeline feel rather than a feed feel. Okay. And actually timeline is kind of different because feeds, you kind of feel like things come into your feed when they're ready to come in, if you see what I mean. There's not a strong sense of chronological order in a feed. It could be ordered in different ways. But when there's something's a timeline, it feels like you're going back in time and taking part in some event that you kind of missed, right? So give you an example. Let's say I take one of my kids who's playing rugby in a match on a Sunday morning. I take some photos and put it up into like a family circle. It might be later that day that one of his grandparents see it, and it's a sense of like, oh yeah, that's happened since I last came into the feed or came into the app. I go to the timeline where I last saw something, and now I get to kind of play through all of the moments that happened and kind of scroll through it that way.
Okay, scroll through. Okay, maybe not say scroll through. So it can.
Yeah. You don't need to say scroll.
So repeating myself here a little bit, I don't think that's a bad thing. The one feature I do want to get in the quite initial thing is to adding content here, because this, to me, that's an integral part of testing. We're not gonna want to wait to be on the website to add things. So view and adding.
Absolutely. I mean, the reality is like the mobile device is where your camera is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, in fact, it becomes even on. I honestly don't even know whether there needs to be a web version of this thing at all, other than at this stage for us to kind of get some basic things set up. I quite like the idea that there's mobile only. I think Instagram's mobile only, right?
I guess I really don't know. It's still a long time I've been using it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is quite simple prompt. I've defined that it's a mobile application for this thing. I find that using like a mono-repo approach with LLMs is very good, because it has access for the whole application that we already have, plus the design system we already have. So we're going to reuse the design system.
Cool.
I told it where I want the app to be, so I usually have the same format as mobile clients and Android. I say to use Kotlin multi-platform. Now, Kotlin multi-platform is a discussion a little bit. It's kind of the positioning of Kotlin multi-platform has changed a little bit. However, I'm quite comfortable with the approach where we use business logic in Kotlin multi-platform and front-end native on both platforms, all platforms. Maybe we build a Sailfish OS as well.
Check out the flex on Juhani.
I can show you the emulator running my first application. So then I defined that use the same design system, and then I kind of put limitations of what is the compared to the mobile, the web application a little bit. And I repeat myself here a little bit, because the important point is that it's just enjoying the content. And then I'll do it. I'll just paste it in here. So I tend to write these longer prompts separately in a file, because it somehow feels safer. But I think there's no other reason. I don't really use the prompt history from the file that much. It just kind of feels safer, nicer to write in an editor than in the text field.
I think this is the thing. Is like there's no kind of single workflow that works, right? Whatever's natural for each person will be different.
So for maybe if there's Android developers who are watching this, what I've done as well is to I accidentally killed my emulator, but I decided not to use Android Studio at all if I can avoid it. There's some features on Android Studio that are quite nice, but at this point I just use the CLI to control emulators and things.
Yeah.
Can be shared with Android only target. Well, we don't wanna for compose multi-platform UI.
No.
We don't want to do plain. We also don't need the scaffolding yet. We can have it the scaffolding later. The reason is that if I had a MacBook, maybe. Yeah. So how do we log in? We log in with Nextcloud.
Or is it the OAuth deep link? No, I think you're right. Passwords, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not kind of.
Okay, they could also use via custom tabs, deep links. So that kind of.
I think we should. So I'm just thinking, what's going on in the web version, right? Because we're basically just using OAuth that takes us to the Nextcloud login. So we've got to do that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do that because we don't have this actually, separate password. We don't want to force people to go into Nextcloud, although it would create a better experience in our application. But that's it. Yeah, that's it. Let's go.
Yeah,
See what it
I think
does.
although we've got things working, there's still some questions that we coming at the end of last stream.
Great, yeah.
So I think we will have to let's keep going on the UX side, and then just to kind of frame it again. Yeah, the goal here is not kind of architectural perfection. The goal is we want to build the right it, right? And to get to the right it, we have to say, well, what is the core experience? Yeah, you got to get onboarding right, you got to get login right, but you got to get to the right it. You got to sort of say, well, those things can be a bit janky and sort of not very pretty. As long as you get to the photo bit that works really well, exactly as you intended, and you get the right sort of feedback, then it's fine. You can loop back around and make a better login or onboarding experience. So
It might even be with these tools that we throw away everything we built and we just use as a specification. But that's, like you said, requires us to understand what is that the users need. We might come to an understanding that this whole way of using Nextcloud is not viable, or it's overkill, or I don't know what it would be, but there might be a kind of reason of not using it. One thing I forgot to specify in this thing, I usually specify in these days, is that I don't want to use Google Play services.
So your latest campaign.
Yeah. Let me log doc in.
Yeah. No, I think that's important actually.
Yeah. The thing is that Google Play services give a lot of convenience for developers, but then again, with LLMs, you don't need the aggressive convenience all the time. And I've been building a couple of applications now without Google Play services, and they work just fine. There's some inconvenience of trying to find location, for example, or when you draw maps, you have to have another mapping package, but both of those are doable. Interestingly, the LLM tools completely understand the specification saying, I want to deploy to F-Droid. F-Droid is a very kind of, the requirements are very strict for good reasons. So they want to cater to a certain type of open source and non-binary bundles and things like that. And if you define that as part of the initial specification of agents.md, the agent keeps following it. So, okay, well, I've chosen this path because that's compliant with what you want to do.
And you need to declare your interest in F-Droid, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, I'm part of the board of directors of F-Droid at the moment for the next 2 years. Yeah, well, my interest of F-Droid is maybe kind of twofold. It is really, I could quite enjoy being able to run the project and so on, but it is really kind of I find it quite important because this is we talked before as well. This is before I joined the board, that it's one of the key things for solving this chicken and egg problem for upcoming platforms like Sailfish, is to have Android applications that do not use Google Play services. And effectively everything that is in F-Droid is in that state. So you can take the whole library of applications that is growing quite rapidly and put it on Sailfish, and you can be relatively certain they kind of work on the emulated environment.
Yep.
Which that's why I do try this for my personal interest, and then there's of course this professional side.
Well, I think there's also probably sort of some. We've talked about this in the past. I think there's also some future for non-Google Android, like Lineage OS. Graphene OS has got some interesting issues going on, but let's just
Morena, I find it quite interesting.
Or Marina, or those sort of things, and then. So I think F-Droid is important. I think we need something more than that, though. I think we need a non-open source one. I mean, if we would love to have. I think key would be like some financial services being able to deploy into a store, kind of with confidence that not owned by Google. But anyway, that's another topic.
I fully agree. I think there's room for both, and there should be both. I do like the F-Droid's approach to be very opinionated about it. It's very clear what they stand for. This is, open foundation for software. And when you go there, I remember installing the updated version of the F-Droid client on my phone. The previous one, frankly, is quite unusable from the user interface perspective, but the new one is solid. It's not bad. And I got back to the same feeling that I had when I Android 2.2 when you're browsing the Google Marketplace back in the day, and find, hey, there's cool things I can put on my phone.
Right.
But now you go to Google Play Store, it's just garbage.
So one of the things I suppose that, I mean, we're kind of demonstrating it kind of now, and there's some other apps that we've been building off camera. But one of the other things is there's going to be, in my view, like an explosion of micro products, right? I'm doing something that's for one of my kids. I don't want to it probably go out into the public, but it's not for the public. It's for him doing some music learning, right? And it's a micro app. It's not going to be like hundreds of features. It's just going to be built and be usable. And if other people find it useful, that's great. And I think that's going to be more and more what happens is that you're going to get much more niche, small apps that do one or two things that other people might find useful. But that's about it. Because now it's so easy to build them, and it's so relatively cheap to build them. It's like we should see a lot more apps coming out, I think.
And there's I think there's going to be a big shift if you think about the open source approach again. Like there's very small reason to keep things closed anymore.
Right.
And when you use tools that generate software for you quite rapidly, why would you, like the value of the code is very low. You can't go, okay, I spent 2 days to generate this thing and now I want €5 per user to use it. That doesn't work. You can ask.
I think there are a lot of people doing that, right?
Maybe
Which
they
is
are.
not. I'm not criticizing anyone, but I think there's this window at the moment where a lot of people, the average person on the street is not aware that a lot of stuff is they don't care about the source code. Of course, why not? Why would they?
And there's also, of course, if you get a service that you're willing to pay €5 for, it doesn't matter how it was built. That's fine. That's fine. But the reality is that there's going to be an alternative for everything that is paid very, very soon. So I built this indoor biking application over the week.
Right.
For my own purpose. Ruby that I would be using was bought by an American company, and to me that's a blocker. I don't want to send money to America. So I looked at the alternatives online, tried to find what's available there. I didn't find anything that was up to quality standards that I liked, so I built my own. It isn't comparable to Ruby. It's not multiplayer, it's not video stream, it's not that, but it allows me to run structured workouts, which is the main thing I wanted to do. And now I have full control of it, and the app is already available open source. Why would I keep it to myself? I could maybe they make €15 a month out of 3 different people with heavy marketing thing out of it, but why would I it's
€15 a month?
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
But pay for your energy costs for running all these.
Right. But I see the energy cost of running of all of these things and putting it out there and giving people a free piece of software kind of is a valuable thing.
Yeah.
And say, okay, well now, just use this. You don't have to pay the subscription fee to a company that is not giving you the service. But there's going to be tons of people who value the online multiplayer aspect and the video format. If you want to pay for that, great. I don't. And also having a company that just does this very minor, small thing.
Yeah. I think I don't know. The thought just came to me while you were saying this is that if you think a lot of products start small and probably have a very few use cases and a very sort of small number of people they're appealing to, and when a product gets more success, more people require more features, naturally you've got a more diverse set of customers and a diverse set of needs, and then suddenly the product gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the individual, if you take 1,000 users, maybe across 1,000 users, they'll all use all of the features, but no one person uses all of the features. So you actually, start to have these kind of like micro kind of interests within the one product. So that's what I'm guessing was with Ruby is the same, right? It's like you use a small segment of the product, which was valuable to you, but the rest of it you still paid for, but you just didn't use ever.
Yeah, I used them because I had them, but that wasn't a driving force for me to want to have them. I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I'm looking at things like Squarespace and wondering how long they survive. Like how are they? Either they are pivoting very quickly, or what they're doing. But
well, I think what they've done over the years anyway is that they've become a bigger ecosystem, like with payments and other third parties hooking into them and this sort of thing. So I think for the average, I mean, for you and me, like if we're like, hey, we're going to create some sort of basic, we're going to sell t-shirts and create an e-commerce store. Yeah, maybe we'd build that and use some sort of payment integration, and we could kind of build that with LLMs. But if you were to go to, I don't know, my sister-in-law, who's not a tech person, she would still go to Squarespace.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So I think there's still life for those people, but I think there might be a segment of the a segment of their customers that move away. Yeah.
Probably.
Anyway, the higher value customers would be better off moving away.
But yeah,
that's the game.
The software services kind of really definitely change. If you have a product that is easy to replicate, it will be replicated.
Yeah.
No question about it. The ideas are not copyrightable. If you have an idea and somebody takes it and builds it by themselves, of course, you're still not allowed to copy. And we can go back to the arguments of LLMs and copying, but the idea of like having a very lightweight service and selling it €5 a month is going to be quite tough. There needs to be something else. There needs to be a community aspect. There needs to be something interesting. And I like what I do like of this thing. What is going to change is that especially companies who rely on using your data or stealing your data, Google-like companies that are quite predatory and try to or these attention economy companies. I think they're going to hopefully see quite a bit bigger hit, because you don't need to. You can compete now with free. Previously it was very difficult. You can't compete against free, like you cannot. But now you can quite in lower cost to build some services at least.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think the attention economy ones. I mean, that's the tricky thing is that there's a volume of people that need to participate. So I was actually doing. I can't remember what it is. I was doing some looking at alternative sort of streaming platforms, and of course there's YouTube, there's Twitch, but there's some other ones like this Kick. There's another one as well, an Australian one, I can't remember. They will all be fine. It's just that the smaller ones just don't have the volume of participation, right? So, whether it's free or not, it's almost the economy. That side of it's hard to. Even if you could build that today relatively easily, it's just like how do you get enough participants is the thing.
Audience and following is difficult to generate.
Interestingly, there's I'm starting to see a shift where this is kind of happening. I'm starting to see a shift away from meetup.com to there's a Dutch guys. What are they called? Oh, let me look it up here because it's kind of interesting. Well, I just want to put it out there so people start to see it or hear about it. Here we go. There it was. So Luma, Luma. Let me just put it in the in the chat. Luma.com. I don't know if this, my live chat, I don't know if this goes out to YouTube. So this is basically a kind of, I think, free to use as far as I know, alternative to Meetup. And I've started to see a few people moving over to this now. Yeah, price. Oh, that is not actually free. There's pricing here. Free to get started. Unlimited number of events. It feels a bit like maybe Meetup at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unlimited events, up to 500 invitations per week. That's pretty good. Check-in guests. It sounds pretty feature rich. And then if you want to pay for it, okay, yeah, this looks pretty good, great. So if you pay for it, it's clearly you're using it for something much larger scale. So you can send up to 5,000 invitations. So if you're doing like a big conference, this makes sense. Ticket sales, you know, check-in managers. So that's really a clear thing. It's like community size, and then kind of corporate size. That, you know,
that's a good
cool.
way to,
yeah. And that's, I think, how a Meetup, I remember when it was, I don't know whether it had a monetization part. There was a time when it was completely free to use, right?
Mm-hmm.
It must have monetized in a similar way. So the kind of the entrenched players can get challenged eventually somehow.
That's good, yeah. But would you say these are Dutch or?
I thought they were, for some reason I thought they were Dutch, but the pricing, they give me a pricing in dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep thinking maybe it was just something stupid like this, or an event of them from Holland. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's see where. Let me see where they're from. Actually, be interesting. You just need to find the name of the Luma Labs Inc. That sounds American. Let's see here. Luma Labs. Let's have a look. See what Crunchbase tells us about them.
My computer is starting to lag. That means that it's compiling some Java.
It's working. It's working. Okay, so yeah, these are not Dutch. I don't know why I thought they were Dutch. Anyways, it's American. Shame. If it's the right one, I'm thinking of here. No, this is not right. This is definitely not it. Definitely not it. I mean yeah. Anyway, I'll figure it out and find out where they're from. Unfortunately, they got a link to X on their website. But anyway, AI is going to tell me. Why do the research myself?
I found when we are looking at the place to host the European Digital Sovereignty meetup in Munich, which we still intend to start. Haven't just gotten it going for the first meetup yet. We tried to find a place to host it outside meetup.com.
Oh yeah, really?
But I ended up using Meetup. The Meetup has such a big reach. There's some other there's a platform that's like this distributed self-hosted type of a platform. The problem is that it's not federated as such. They are just independent.
Right.
So if you host one, you can have all the features of Meetup, but there's discoverability is zero. So you have to do your marketing somewhere else. Okay, look here. In meetup.com, I set up the group, and in 2 weeks later, we had 60 members.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything other than setting up the group. So there's quite a bit of value in there.
I agree. I mean, I'm not kind of bashing Meetup, and I'll be honest, like yeah, how do services run for free forever, right? They can't. Yeah. So I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong.
Well, Bending Spoon has a bit of a bad history.
As a company, oh really?
Yeah, well, Bending Spoon is the Italian company that tends to buy products and then like extract all the value out of it and let the products die.
Really? So
they
Meetup.com
change a little
was started by them or got bought by them?
No, it's now owned by Bending Spoon. It was Meetup.com was started by somebody. It was bought by WeWork.
Oh really?
And WeWork didn't quite work. So they're now owned by Bending Spoon. I don't know if there was something in between. Bending Spoon is also the same company that bought Komoot, which is a product I used very heavily, which is this kind of trail planning, tracking software from Germany. It was very, very useful. I was very disappointed when it's bought. But yeah, they have a really bad reputation of doing these things. But on the other hand, they seem to keep these services running. It's not like they run them to the ground. So Komoot, for example, got multiple app updates afterwards. But the first thing they did in the first week, they fired the whole team. So they come in and just they basically fire everybody. But they have their own engineering teams. So they acquire products that the engineering teams then pick up. So they basically look at the thing that has somewhat value. They acquire it and run it way more efficiently than the founder team was able to do. The question here is like, okay, if Komoot wouldn't have been bought by them, would Komoot be bankrupt? And the team would be out anyways.
Right.
And now we have a product anyways. If you're somebody who worked at Komoot and got fired, I bet you don't feel very fine about it. And I fully understand somebody would be quite annoyed by it. But the question is that would they have had job anyways? Would Komoot be out of business already without the second? We don't know. We cannot know. It's privately owned. There's no data.
Yeah, that's possible to say. Anyway, I found out that unfortunately these are not Dutch guys. Again, completely off the mark there. Turned out to be guys based in California, Palo Alto. So there you go.
Oh.
Yes, yet another American company.
Okay.
But anyway.
So it looks like it's iterating. So it's built all the features asked for, but it's having some compilation problems. So it is trying to rebuild it.
Have you tried Gemini working on Android? I'm wondering if Google's got somehow been able to get Gemini to be particularly good at Android development, or
it's not too bad. It's just very slow.
Right.
It might be the Google service being very slow, and also strangely, if you don't define things to Gemini and just build an Android application, for example, it doesn't use Jetpack Compose by default, which was a very strange surprise to me. I had to redo the app from scratch.
Wow.
But
that is.
But then again, I didn't use the skills stuff that I showed earlier. That's Google's official Android skills for everything, and that defines modern architectures and things like that. So I think the mistake there was that I didn't feed the right starting phase. But if you start with Claude without any skills, it does a modern Android application. So
interesting.
All right, it's firing up my emulator.
Now you really get to hear the fans go to work.
So let's see which emulator it chose to do. It started the emulator in a place I cannot track and drop. Okay. So I'm not a big fan of Android emulators. Historically, I struggle a lot. It's not even in the window list with them. So
it's kind of a funny thing, right? Your thoughts. I mean, the platform's matured so much. I don't know what is this the stock emulator you're using here, or?
This is the Google's stock
Yeah.
emulator. This is an AOSP version, so I don't run the.
Right.
All right, the app crashes on launch. So let's see. It should be able to check the.
Yeah.
Check the content.
I mean, even from the early days on iOS, you know, iOS developers were like, yeah, just run it all on the emulator.
Yeah, but that's different because iOS is simulator.
It's a simulator, yeah.
And Android is an emulator, so it's obviously heavier.
Yeah.
It's closer to real thing. Now that must have changed in iOS, so I don't quote me on that. But at the early phases was a simulator that was very fast, and that you build it on Mac, so they have full control of everything. So Google's, of course, I got a little bit behind in that. But the emulators have never worked. The only emulator that I felt was good was the Genymotion one that was built by a French company.
Yeah.
That actually did work. That was very funny because Google couldn't be working, but these guys just made something that actually was very usable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it detected that it didn't did crash. How can I log into the Nextcloud from this one?
Well, let's see what it does, because it should, in theory, take you to a web view, I thought.
Right, but my Nextcloud is running on.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's not localized. Yeah. So maybe I can use my internal IP. I don't know if Windows exposes that.
You might have to put either temporarily turn off your Windows firewall, or if you know how to configure a Windows firewall, which I mean, if you look up firewall, it's about in 10 different places within Windows. And I know this because trying to support my kids on their gaming, half the time I'm just like, screw that, I'm just going to turn off their firewall for now.
I have some video streaming thing working from this computer, and I have my IPs pinned, so I should be able to.
Okay.
We need to, in any case, we need to create a configuration for photo circles to really understand how to reach the server. It's still doing something. I don't know what it's doing, but let me try. Yeah.
What's that address? 10.0.0.2. That's odd that
it's probably my external address now. Everybody can come here and look at my external address.
Let's see what we can find on your.
Okay, let me.
You could also do. There's also I don't know whether this is now going a bit far, but if it gets a bit messy, there's also another way of using something like Tailscale. You can create these what were they called now? Sort of funnels. They had a name for them, where you can create basically a temporary sort of public address for a machine on Tailscale.
Right now I don't need, because I'm in an internal network.
I don't think you'll need it.
Look at my Wi-Fi. What is my?
Yeah.
Google. I'm opening my Wi-Fi configuration from Google Wi-Fi and it's trying to upsell me something.
It's going to try and tell you need Gemini in your Wi-Fi to decide the packets. Use LLM-based packet routing. That's what you need. You didn't know you needed it.
I found my IP. I'm going to try it here.
Oh, sorry for yawning.
That's right.
I need to find some time to get some sleep Sunday.
What was the port for Nextcloud?
8081.
Okay. Oh, what the hell? Can I not type here? God damn it.
You have to use the keypad.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sure you don't want to just become a web developer?
Yeah.
I'd say with life. I keep saying this. Life would have been better if we just stuck with the web.
Get it right. I'm just interested to see if this,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
if we can access it. Yeah.
Nice.
So like we can just change this as the URL for Nextcloud, and then it should work.
Nice.
Already done. Okay, good. Use as the Nextcloud. IP here. Instead of.
That's good.
How do you like the app icon?
Well, that
PC.
PC. Nice. Very good.
Here, the circles is fine.
Oh, that
Colors are very boring.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of these sort of these shades. Unfortunately, they need to be a bit stronger colors.
Yeah. We can try to fix it.
We can. Yeah, I mean.
So does the callback? Do I need to do some change on the Nextcloud callback as well?
No, that's an interesting thing, right? Because it's going to.
Oh, yeah, even if I go to
you know what we're gonna
browser, it's just
yeah. I don't think it's going to be quite so easy. We might have to proxy this through the back end, right?
Yeah, it doesn't let me access this, right?
I think we have to set up the back end to have a login endpoint that sits there to.
It might be description, add to NC trusted domains. I might try to do that first.
Okay. Yeah. But hold on, wait. What was that IP address then? It wants you to add.
It's my Windows computer's IP that is running on.
Okay.
Redirect URL. Yeah, this is what I thought, but it should work then.
Okay.
This is of course a little bit temporary hack. We need to find a better setup in. Okay. Good. Again, has to be restarted. So it rereads this. Okay. Redirect URL is called this thing. So I need to do the redirect URL here. I cannot change it. You can't edit these things in here.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm doing it another. But of course I can just add a new one for the circles. To redirect URL. Needs to be now this. Wait, call back. And I need to change the configurations we changed earlier as well.
Yeah.
Which are in the end, right?
Oh,
that's
in
no
there
problem.
already.
Kind of. Yeah,
no,
but they are different because I had to create a new one.
Yeah, I get you.
I cannot change the callback URL in the existing one. I have to create a new one.
Yeah.
So I'm moving this to another screen because they don't fit on my smaller screen. Not because this doesn't matter if these leak, because they are.
Yep.
They are local and test things. So So we're good. Okay, this is now changed here. Nextcloud, I added the callback URL. Why did you scroll all the way up there? Okay, update this redirect set. Oh, at callback, front-end bay, and what? What is the front-end base URL? Set front-end base URL. Oh, this is the one that, this doesn't let me access the brute force analyst. Your remote doesn't identify it. Okay, from this page in backend.env.
I don't think we had the
backend. We don't have this thing here.
Front end. I don't know why.
Well, just do what the machine tells you.
That's it. I don't know why. It's the machine's being lazy and actually asking you to make these edits. It should be doing it itself, right?
Yeah, it should be doing itself. Rebuild Android with. Okay, so we still need to solve a problem of Nextcloud doesn't let me get in their new IP address. There's a field in the config that allows me to add this here. Bypass rate limit for allowed IPs or whatever. Add. Why don't you let me add? Comment test. Mask. What is mask? Just default. No idea what it wants to do. There was an error. We might be blocked with this one now. Okay, two-factor. Okay, let's do things.
I'm just thinking about the.
Close the terminals to stop.
Do you have in your network? Do you have your current machine? Can you set a DNS entry on your network for your current machine?
I can probably.
That might be the easiest way of doing it.
That's longer term for sure.
Yeah, actually, that's something I need to go and start doing this on my network.
Yeah.
It's a thing that gets very little attention.
I'm rerunning the dev.
Right. Let's see.
Okay, we run the app as described.
So this is the sort of thing that makes these sort of dev environments really can be pretty challenging, right?
Yeah. Let's see. But it's one of those, you set it up once properly, and then it's done.
I think it's more one of the things that if you want a dev environment that's easily reproducible by anybody coming into the project,
right?
Because we'll get it running now, and then if in a stream or two it flips back to me, I'm going to be in the same position as you. So it's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So I'm sure if we'd been more hands-on the last couple of years, this would probably be a solved problem.
Do you know where this file is that is describing in here?
Where's that?
PHP.
What's it describing?
Trusted domain setting in the config.
config.sample.php. Let me see if I can find. Let me figure out. I'll for you while you're looking there. Do something useful rather than just sit there and watch you struggle. Config.sample.php. Nextcloud. How do we? I mean, the other thing that's ugly is it's running in a Docker container, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Nextcloud.
But is it good, like if we can't get the setup scripts correct, these kind of things can be just done. So like define your local DNS name and define your whatever. Oh yeah,
well, not everyone can set local
DNS
DNS
because
names.
I have a Pi-hole in my network, which will be able to do that.
Same. And that's the thing. Into the container. You can try doing this. Yeah, let me put this to you in the Nextcloud chat. Not in the public chat. I'll put it in the studio chat if you want. This is the command that I have no idea whether it's going to work or not. This is what Gemini is suggesting.
We'll soon find out.
But it looks like it's you just have to put your right IP address value in. Hopefully that works. Option B is a bit more painful.
Nextcloud container name. What is our Nextcloud container name?
Hold on, wait. Let me just try and do it. Look, I mean, I've got Nextcloud running locally, so let me just try.
Containers. Multi-container application. I have this UI thingy here. Our container name is Nextcloud.
Right.
Which, fine.
That's easy enough.
What's next? Try Docker debug. No such container Nextcloud.
Oh.
Now you're lying.
Okay, let me just try.
Okay, apps running emulator, login screen, tap login.
I tell you what it wanted to do. It kind of jumped a couple of instructions.
It is letting me log in.
Oh, that's very good.
It's letting me, yeah, there we go. To remember this, because now I can't copy paste these things. Now I actually have to type in things.
Oh my god. We need to find use names, 2 letters.
Yeah.
Passwords.
And I can't even type them. I have to click them.
For God's sake.
It's the emulator configuration that I just need to make.
One other option we could think about is using, I don't know if Visor is still running or something similar, where we could run everything on the device and just project the device on the screen. That way we could actually get we can get Claude to actually do all the clicking, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I could also just run it on my phone.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking to each other about this last day or two, but watching the LLM just run things. Oh, hold on, wait. Web page not available. The port's 8081, right?
And yes, it is. Oh, fuck.
Just type in.
It's not so trivial, man. I need to.
Sorry. Sorry, I was just like, my initial.
How long is this fucking thing?
Welcome to 2006. No, wait. When is that? When is Android? That's a bit too early. Maybe 2008.
Oh no.
I love these short URLs. They're really great.
Can you just go to the beginning? There's a lot of stuff in this URL. It seems.
Yeah.
Call back. 81. Page not found. Okay, something is a little bit off. The emulator custom tab 81. The
yeah. But I wonder whether it's because. Well, no, that's just a callback, right? It should be right.
yeah. Well, it should. Claude should be able to figure out. Just go through this.
Yeah.
Thing and understand what needs to be done. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, so the ability for the LLM to control the app running on the device is really also a bit of a game changer, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when something's not working,
I can ask it to actually do it now. It is working. I have the CLI set up.
right?
So I'm just being stubborn by doing it myself.
Yeah.
Again, what I actually gonna do next? I'm gonna give it the username and password to log in.
Yeah. Well, you can find it in the.
Be able to do it.
You can find it in the project
Yeah,
files, right?
Yeah.
You just tell it to look at that file, and it'll find the usernames.
Yeah, the only thing is that if I need to change something in the Nextcloud configuration, I'm not sure it can do that for me.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah. Yeah, well now it's checking the the stuff
that's
on
good.
emulator, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been working on something with Flutter, and there's a Flutter MCP that does all of this basically.
Right. Yeah.
But and then it can do all of the let's figure out where to click, and let's understand the widget tree and all of that sort of stuff. So it's pretty good.
I think it's quite. I think the Android CLI is just going through the ADB for everything. It seems to work fine. It's just trying to open a browser.
I mean, this is exactly it. You just really need it to. It can discover itself what's going wrong. To be honest, that's one of the things I'd really love to have with dealing with things like Linux configs. You're using an LLM to fix the Linux problems, then actually you just want to pipe in the everything, and then it's like, that's not working. Let me try and fix that.
There's quite long, but what I find when it's driving the emulator or real device can do both, of course. It takes quite a long time because the delays, it waits quite a long time to make sure everything has finished.
Yeah.
Sometimes it waits 30 seconds for a 1 second screen.
Yeah.
Okay, just waiting. So it feels like it's slowing down quite a bit. So when I was building the mobile app last time, I just told it to never to run the stuff itself because it got into default mode. So whenever it implemented the feature, it tried the feature. And it took so long time, and that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to rapid iterate things. You have to wait a long time all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Unfortunately, it has no. I don't think there's any really good way for it to know when the events have happened, right? It's if I understand the ADB correctly, it's literally sending commands.
Yeah.
But there's no sort of like listening to things that have been going on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I noticed that was happening quite a lot is that the LLM was taking screenshots and then analyzing screenshots, then doing something and that sort of thing. So,
wait, what?
Okay, what's why? With the Google APIs.
Chrome, it needs Chrome custom tabs. Okay, a small change. Okay. So one for now. Immediately architecture stays same.
But we want to get option 2, I think, don't we?
Yeah, let's go with option 2. We want to stay on AOSP. Let's not use any Google. There we go. Once done, do test the login with these.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's gonna. Yeah, this is a place like if I would have remembered to keep the initial instruction of the no Google services, it would have just built it correctly from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I fear Google's just going to make it harder and harder to do pure ASOP stuff.
It's already, but this light in the tunnel in the sense that they can't stop these non-Google libraries to becoming a thing.
Yeah.
For example, the Climb Finder application that is currently waiting for approval in Google in F-Droid. It's using a map layer fully. Right. It's very similar than Google Maps by OpenStreetMaps, and it has the OpenStreetMaps package also provides this location service that Google does. So it doesn't have to use this fused location provider, which is extremely useful for app developers. But also this map system provides the same service. But of course, it can't be as accurate without GPS because it doesn't have the massive catalog of Wi-Fi hotspot that Google has.
I mean, it's just.
But it works still fine, you know.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever going to be able to pull that off. I mean, that vast quantity of data and data sort of liveness of data collection, that infrastructure. I think Apple spent several years building that for their maps. And how many, I would say millions or billions, I don't know. Maybe billions sounds a bit of an exaggeration, but millions they've spent, I don't know.
Although Google had their problems for a while. I don't know if you ever experienced this when you were in Germany, but if you sit in any train and connect to the ICE Wi-Fi, it immediately tells you in Frankfurt. Because that's where they scanned it probably. You know, like all the Deutsche Bahn trains have the same Wi-Fi. And I was like, okay. So I think they fixed it now, but it was at least 2 years. When you go to München Hauptbahnhof, you jumped into a train, connected to Wi-Fi in Frankfurt.
I mean, if you think about it, the mapping, what's actually available, it is mind-blowing right?
Yeah.
It's not just having the map; it's the street view thing that for me makes my mind explode, right? Yeah, and so many sort of really small countryside streets, middle of nowhere. I mean,
There's
mad.
but there's downsides of this. I started receiving these takedown notices of my Google reviews. I don't no longer review places in Google. I haven't done for a long time.
Ah, really?
But basically, places are taking down all my one-star reviews. I get a
Why?
notification saying your reviews have been removed.
How is that
And
possible?
the message from Google says that the venue has told us to take it down. And if you want to take it back, because you're in Germany, we advise against it. Because they can sue me for defamation. And I have to prove that I have been there at time.
Oh, really?
Time to go past.
Yeah.
So Google, even in the email, takedown email, they will even say like, we advise you don't do this because the burden of proof is on you. So they basically, any venue in Germany can take down all their one-star reviews by just clicking buttons. We don't want them anymore. So that kind of defeats the whole review structure completely.
Yeah. So you can't even, there's no point looking at reviews anymore in Germany.
The smaller
is that just Germany?
The people don't take those down. No, it isn't, no. Well, at least the email from Google that accompanies this message refers to Germany, especially. So I haven't heard from anybody else, but it was like, okay, that's that. Why would I read any reviews anymore?
You wouldn't.
And,
I think.
Yeah.
I think you just don't.
Because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. It was like it's almost 10 years ago. I wrote one-star review for a fitness club that, in my opinion, scammed me. But in a legal term, it probably wasn't a scam. But they really screwed me out of my money. And I wrote this like these people feel like this honest people, and it feels like a near scam, something like that. And I said, if you don't take this down, we're going to take you to the court. And I said, well, I did write near scam or something like that. I don't remember what I wrote. But I did re-edit the review. I just made like this really shit service or something like that, and left the 1 star, and that stayed there for a long time. But then I think some law changes, because I got a notification from that review as well, saying that been taken down. That has been taken down.
It's a tricky one, because I think there is a place for takedown notices. I mean, I think, of course, this is going to get abused at some point, right? Somebody's going to see a competitor, want to throw some mud at them. Of course it's going to happen. So you need the takedown ability, but yeah, this really just destroys the whole idea of reviews. I remember years ago, you and I were doing a hackathon. I think we were in London for some reason. And
yeah,
it was a YouTube hackathon, and the guys there were also talking about the difficulty in Germany, where I think it was around intellectual property rights or some sort of license to show content or whatever. And I remember at the time, I don't know if it's still like that, I remember at the time a lot of the videos you could watch, let's say in the UK, that just wasn't available in Germany. I can't remember exactly all those details, but and maybe it's not the same anymore. But I don't know.
Well, a long time all the music content was blocked by GEMA, but that's no longer the case.
That's right. No, remind me, who are those? They're the copyright guys. No, what are the GEMA?
They're the music copyright holders.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also the reason why Spotify wasn't available in Germany. So to get Spotify here, I had to create my account when I happened to be work from the Amsterdam office. And I created my account there. So then I had a Dutch account. I could listen to music on Spotify in Germany, but only because I was in Amsterdam when I created it.
That's so mad. Yeah. I know, it's a tricky balance. I mean, I appreciate there needs to be some checks and balances. You can't let everyone just go wild and
for sure.
do what they want.
At that point, there was quite a big backslash when people basically it really looked like they were against consumers. But of
Right.
course, a lot of it was stories like spun up by Spotify and Google and others, explaining how these copyright holders
Yeah.
are against you. But then again, GEMA is an organization that is here to protect the musicians and the artists. So their view was, of course, being a German organization, was very direct. Like, you know, screw you. No,
Yeah.
you have to pay for everything. Like, well, you can't do this. And looking at where we ended up in now, I'm not sure. Maybe they were right. But at this point, but of course, it was a losing battle for them.
Yeah, I mean,
In the end, you can have finally Rammstein in streaming services, which wasn't available for a long time.
I'd noticed, to be honest, somehow. Although
That's Rammstein, the album, the new album with no name, was the last album I have bought myself because it wasn't available on a streaming service. You had to buy it.
Oh.
That's the last album I bought.
Actually,
All right, it is trying to
nice.
log in. Let's see if it actually does
Yeah.
it for me, because I don't want to type it again.
Yeah, hopefully it won't get lost. And like, I can't type into this keyboard, this field.
I could use the ADP as well to send text.
Yeah.
Been doing that quite a bit instead of typing. When you have to log into some Wi-Fi hotspot with.
Now here's a really important question. I wonder with Claude, there's a way of stopping it, right? These stupid bloody the words concocting.
Oh yeah, I would like to have this needs to go away. Maybe I could just say, can you not show all of this bollocks?
I'm sure there's some config somewhere for it to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how many tokens it's using. Probably not many.
Right.
It's probably just a fixed set. It's just iterating through.
Would hope so. Here's the same thing. Like Gemini keeps always saying, "Oh, good idea! What a brilliant idea! Now this feature is going to work perfectly. Everything is going to be great." Like,
Yeah.
Stop. Stop. It doesn't. Doesn't
Yeah.
help. Just
It's like,
go to the point. And I think Claude does much less of that. It just that's very clearly what needs to be done.
I mean, there's yeah.
It's taking screenshots all the time. I'm not very happy with this. It should be able to navigate the UI without screenshotting everything.
Yeah, I that's what I was saying earlier. My observation doing this on Flutter was that there were a lot of lot of screenshots being taken, a lot of kind of coordinates.
Yeah.
Hey, look
now
at that.
It did do my hard work. I just need to take a screenshot to find the button.
Yeah.
At least before, so I was doing something, it remembered these things for repetitive tasks. So that's good. So let's see if that's the case, if you can just then log in very quickly after.
Yeah.
That would be, like,
No,
then
if
it
it
would be
takes this long.
acceptable for it to do that stuff. Otherwise, it's just unusable.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd be sitting here forever. Smooshing.
Okay. Find grant access button. Yeah, well, it's right there. It doesn't feel like the most efficient use of tokens to take
No.
a screenshot and fine. But then again, when it fails like this, then it's good that it did it because it has the context of
True.
knowing exactly what happens and when. It's still trying to go to 2020, 8080.
It's still going to 8080. Okay.
So that's a big problem of this one.
Should. Do you think you need to give it a hint that it's at 8081? I mean, I guess it will figure it out
I
eventually.
should know it. Yeah. This is the stuff. It should be quite simple.
Yeah, I don't know. This is where the mono repo topic is kind of interesting, right? Because you and I know that there's, I mean, if you think about it, what it is, there's a Docker file that says, that defines what the Nextcloud server is, right? The LLM, don't know how well it understands at this stage. We'll find out in a minute. I don't know how, whether it understands. Oh, wait. Converting dev to a batch file. Anyway, I guess there are a couple of places it might figure out it's 8081.
The thing here is that the callback needs to be handled by the application, not by the browser.
That's true.
So the port actually shouldn't have to matter as long as the application is registered to listen to this one. It shouldn't go to the browser at all.
That's true, actually. I've forgotten we're wanting to intercept that call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do it again. I think it's mentioned here somewhere. It shouldn't even use HTTP at all. It should just be calling different, like here. It
should be a deep link, basically, or an intent.
Exactly. Well, now it's doing this very quickly, so it doesn't read all of these things.
Check it out.
We're done. There we go.
And we got a photo.
Are dropping out. These are the John Smith's photos that I uploaded there.
Yeah.
They're correct.
Let's
Nice.
ship it. Put it in the store. We're done.
Ship it. Good. I
good,
think
okay.
this is a good success.
Yeah.
Something did break when I pressed some buttons. Now I have this white screen. Well, it's still doing something, but they logout icon caption has no photos yet, so timeline empty. That's bullshit. That's not true. Doesn't matter. I think we are 1.5 hours in again. We spent most of the time technical debugging of problems, which I think was important thing to do and understanding how these things work. Let's take next week a stream when we start really thinking about the user experience, what we want to show to users, and hopefully we can do relatively rapid iteration of the system. I think that would be good. Going to keep the users locked in, and we can start having other users post pictures while the user is, browsing and so on, and we can get some experience.
So let me ask you this: do you think we should do a session with Claude Design next week? Is that a good place? I mean, what's your view on that right now?
We don't need Claude Design in this point, in my opinion.
Right. Okay.
We could, if we wanted to, but we already use Claude Design for the initial phase. Now, it depends a little bit what we really want to do. We could just we could use Claude Design to build the screen and then hand it over to Claude to really implement it. But we can also just go directly with Claude, saying, okay, I want to have these things, I want to have these things with Claude Code. Because we have the design system already in place, so the visual style is already inherited from the Claude Design session we did at the day one. And in that case, we could, if that's interesting, maybe that's just we can do this out of interest, but personally I wouldn't probably go in that at this point because the application is quite simple. I want to have the app just running quickly. Okay. Yep. That's yeah, I'm just trying to also figure out where Claude Design gets slot that in, right? Because there's a period where it's like maybe too early, but there's also going to be a period where it's a bit too late for it to. It's not to have value. It's just that it ends up kind of you end up kind of like
sort of going off in a different direction, and all of the work you've done to validate the user experience kind of goes out the window a little bit if you're not careful, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a good discussion. Maybe we have a chat about it. We can do either way. I don't see so much value of kind of, because we have the information architecture in our head, at least I do. And it's a relatively simple application. If I was building a more complex application, maybe I would, because it's much faster to iterate on the visuals.
That's what I did. I burnt through all my Claude Design tokens in an evening. I'll show you next week what I've been building to show you why I did that. But yeah, I just want to burn through your tokens now. That's all.
Fair enough. Cool, but I think that's good. We are in a place where we have a running Android application with Kotlin multi-platform backend. It is. Let me quickly just show the structure of the code that it generated. It does quite standard Kotlin stuff in here. If you're an Android developer, you recognize this structure. Oh, I don't have Kotlin highlighter here, but by my experience, I haven't looked at this, of course, it's just generated. But my experience, the code generated is decent. It is not, mind-blowing. Of course, there's improvements you can do. You generally have like nullability problems and things like that it leaves in for the first thing. But Claude is also pretty good at figuring that stuff out. So my progress from this one would be now to focus on the user experience, get to a point where we're happy with the user experience, or at least happy to start experimenting with the user experience, then tell Claude to review the code, and then improve that state, and that's about it. Cool. Then I'd say thanks everybody for watching, and see you